The stars sparkled across the vast emptiness of space as Princess Zoralia gazed from her royal chambers aboard the Crixian mothership. She sighed deeply. Her 7-foot-tall purple frame towered over the furniture designed specifically for her species. The Crixians ruled over 12 star systems with their advanced technology and superior strength. No species dared challenge them, especially not humans. Those tiny, fragile creatures from that insignificant blue planet Zoralia touched the communication panel. "My lady, the human ambassador, has arrived," said Commander Vex. Her most trusted advisor Zoralia nodded. She had to meet with this human as part of the new peace treaty. It was merely a formality. The Crixians had no real interest in human affairs, but the Galactic Council insisted on these diplomatic exchanges. "Send him in," she said, her voice carrying the authority of 1,000 generations of royal blood. The doors slid open and in walked Jack Benson, average height average, build nothing remarkable by human standards, yet something about him caught her attention immediately. He stood tall despite being in the presence of a Crixian royal. He wore the standard Earth Alliance uniform, but carried himself with dignity. "Not fear, Your Highness," he said with a slight bow. "Thank you for receiving me." Zoralia studied him curiously. Humans were considered weak among the galactic community. Their planet was young, their technology primitive, their bodies fragile. Yet they had surprised everyone by developing faster-than-light travel within just a century of discovering electricity. Ambassador Benson, "Welcome to the Crixian mothership," she said formally. "I trust your journey was comfortable." "It was quite pleasant. Your ships are remarkable," he replied, his eyes meeting hers without hesitation. Such boldness. This human did not behave like the others she had encountered in the past. Most cowered or stared in awe at Crixian technology. Jack seemed genuinely interested, but not intimidated. The formal meeting went as expected. Discussions of trade routes, security protocols, communication standards. Nothing exciting, yet Zoralia found herself paying more attention to Jack than to the actual negotiations. His mannerisms fascinated her. The way he used his hands when he spoke, the subtle changes in his facial expressions, the warmth in his voice when he mentioned his home planet. After the meeting concluded, Zoralia made an unexpected decision. "Ambassador, would you care to join me for a tour of the mothership?" she asked, surprising even herself. Jack smiled, a genuine warm smile that reached his eyes. "I would be honored." "Your Highness," Commander Vex frowned at this breach of protocol but said nothing as Zoralia led Jack through the grand corridors of the ship. The mothership was the pride of the Crixian fleet, a marvel of engineering spanning 20 miles in length. It housed over 50,000 Crixians, as well as representatives from vassal species. Jack marveled at the artificial ecosystem, the gravity modulators, the quantum computers. "This is incredible," he said as they entered the central garden, a massive space filled with plants from 100 different worlds, the air sweet with exotic scents, the sounds of artificial waterfalls, creating a peaceful atmosphere. "I never imagined such beauty could exist in space." Zoralia felt an unfamiliar sensation. Pride not in Crixian superiority, but in being able to share this wonder with someone who truly appreciated it. "The gardens are my favorite place on the ship," she admitted. "It reminds me that even in the coldness of space, life finds a way to thrive." Jack looked at her with newfound interest. "You speak almost like a human princess. Is that a compliment?" Ambassador Zoralia asked, raising an eyebrow. "Most definitely," he replied. Over the next few days, Zoralia found reasons to continue their meetings. Cultural exchange. She told Commander Vex diplomatic necessity. But the truth was simpler. She enjoyed Jack's company. He told her about Earth, about its oceans and mountains, its diverse cultures and history, its struggles and triumphs. She shared stories of Crixian conquests and traditions. Though she noticed Jack winced slightly at tales of subjugation. "Do your people not believe in conquest?" she asked during one conversation. "We have a complicated history with that concept," Jack admitted. "We have conquered and been conquerors, but we have learned through painful lessons that true strength lies in cooperation, not domination." Zoralia scoffed. That sounds like something the weak would say to avoid being conquered. Jack's eyes held hers steady. Is it weak to choose peace when war is an option? Is it weak to seek understanding rather than force compliance? Perhaps strength takes many forms, princess. Some more subtle than others, his words stayed with Zoralia long after he left. She had never considered strength could exist beyond physical power or technological superiority. The idea was almost heretical in Crixian culture. Yet, something about it resonated with her. The Galactic Council meeting approached a gathering of representatives from all major species. Commander Vex prepared the Crixian delegation for their usual display of power and authority. We will remind them why the Crixian Empire stands supreme, Vex declared during staff meetings. Our military parade will showcase our latest weapons technology. Zoralia listened silently, then made her decision. There will be no military parade this cycle, she announced. Vex and the other commanders stared in shock. But Your Highness, it is tradition. It is expected. Perhaps it is time for new traditions. Zoralia said, we will instead host a cultural exchange, a showcase of artistic and scientific achievements from all worlds, including Earth. The commanders erupted in protests, but Zoralia silenced them with a raised hand. Her word was law. Even if that law now puzzled her most loyal subjects, when she told Jack of her plans, his face lit up with surprise and approval. That is a bold move, Princess, he said. Such a change will not go unnoticed. That is the intention, she replied, wondering when exactly this human's opinion had become important to her. The night before the council meeting, Zoralia stood in her chambers looking out at the stars. Commander Vex entered, his face grim. Your Highness, I must speak frankly, he said. Your behavior since the human arrived has caused concern among the High Command. Some wonder if you have been compromised. Zoralia turned to him, her eyes flashing. With anger or guilt, she was not certain. Explain yourself. Commander, you spend excessive time with the human. You adopt human ideas, you change ancient traditions. You speak of cooperation instead of conquest. Some fear you have developed inappropriate feelings for this ambassador. Zoralia felt her heart's race. Was it so obvious? Had she been so transparent? Commander Vex, I assure you my judgment is unclouded. I simply see value in exploring new diplomatic approaches. The human perspective, while primitive, offers interesting alternatives. Vex bowed, but his doubt was clear. Your Highness, I hope you remember that humans are temporary. Their lives pass in moments while we endure. Their passions are fleeting, their existence brief. Any connection with such a species can only end in disappointment. After he left, Zoralia stared at her reflection. The proud Crixian princess with royal markings across her purple skin, her 4 eyes, her elegant crest. When had she started seeing herself through human eyes, through Jack's eyes? When had his opinion begun to matter, and what would she do about these feelings that grew stronger with each passing day? The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with activity as representatives from 27 different species gathered. The vast dome-shaped room featured rising tiers of seating, with the most powerful empires positioned at the lowest level nearest the central speaking platform. The Crixians occupied the most prominent position, a testament to their dominance across the stars. Zoralia entered with her entourage. Jack walked several paces behind as protocol demanded, but she was acutely aware of his presence. She felt strangely nervous about the changes she had implemented for this meeting. Instead of the traditional military display, screens around the chamber showed cultural achievements from various worlds. Earth included, there were images of Crixian architecture beside human paintings. Alluvian music played alongside Dralaxian poetry. The effect was striking, a celebration of diversity rather than a hierarchy of power. The other species noticed immediately. Whispers spread through the chamber. The Saraxians, longtime rivals of the Crixians, exchanged confused glances. The Vendarti ambassador leaned toward his aide in obvious surprise. High Counselor Drav, an ancient Malorian with translucent skin, opened the proceedings. Princess Zoralia, he said, his voice amplified throughout the chamber. We note the unusual nature of this gathering. The Crixian Empire has taken an unexpected approach. Would you care to explain? Zoralia rose, her tall frame commanding attention. She felt Jack, watching her, and drew strength from his presence. Esteemed members of the council, she began. For too long we have measured strength by our ability to conquer, to dominate, to instill fear. But true strength lies in our capacity to adapt, to grow, to change. The Crixian Empire remains powerful, but we recognize that power can take many forms. The displays you see around you represent the unique contributions each species brings to our galactic community. Together we are stronger than we are. Apart, murmurs spread through the chamber, some approving, some skeptical. Commander Vex stood rigid beside her, his disapproval evident, though he remained silent. Ambassador Jack Benson of Earth will now share insights on human cultural integration. Zoralia continued. Jack stepped forward. His small stature should have made him seem insignificant in this gathering of powerful beings, yet he carried himself with such natural confidence that the chamber fell silent. Thank you, Princess Zoralia, he began. Earth may be young, compared to many of your civilizations, our technology less advanced, our physical forms less imposing. But humanity has learned through our own turbulent history that our greatest strength lies in our diversity, our ability to see beauty in our differences, our willingness to learn from each other. I am honored to witness the Crixian Empire embracing this truth. We offer our full support for this new approach to galactic relations. The speech was short but effective. Zoralia noticed several representatives nodding in agreement. The Illuvian ambassador even applauded a breach of protocol that would normally have been met with harsh reprimand. Yet Zoralia found herself pleased by the response. The remainder of the council meeting proceeded. With surprising productivity, trade agreements were revised, territorial disputes addressed peacefully, scientific cooperation initiatives proposed. Jack contributed several times, offering the human perspective with clarity and insight. Zoralia found herself seeking his gaze after each successful negotiation, sharing silent moments of triumph. When the council adjourned for the day, Zoralia felt a sense of accomplishment unlike any military victory had ever provided. She had created connection. Instead of fear, respect. Instead of submission, it was exhilarating. Commander Vex approached as the chamber emptied. Your Highness, a word in private. They moved to a secluded alcove, Jack watching from a distance, concern evident on his face. What is it? Commander Zoralia asked. This new direction concerns me deeply. Vex said, his voice low. Your father conquered 7 star systems during his reign. Your grandmother established the Crixian dominance protocols that have kept our empire secure for centuries. Now in a matter of weeks you dismantled these traditions, replacing strength with what? Cooperation, cultural appreciation. He practically spat the words. These are human concepts, Princess. They have infected your thinking. Zoralia felt anger rise within her. Be careful, Commander. Your words border on insubordination. Vex bowed stiffly. Forgiveness, Your Highness. My concern is for the Empire, for you. The human has clouded your judgment. He must be removed from your council. Zoralia stepped closer, her height allowing her to look down at Vex. Ambassador Benson remains by my invitation. His perspective has value, and you will show him proper respect. Is that understood? Yes, Your Highness. Vex replied, his eyes cold. I understand completely. As he walked away, Zoralia felt uneasy. Something in his tone suggested this conversation was far from over. Jack approached, caution in his steps. Is everything all right? Princess, Zoralia forced a smile. Nothing to concern yourself with, Ambassador. The council meeting went. Well, do you not agree? Jack studied her face better than I expected. Actually better than I could have hoped. The Syraxian ambassador actually spoke with me afterward. He seemed genuinely interested in human art forms, something I never thought possible. Zoralia felt a surge of pride. My people have always prized strength, Jack. But perhaps we have defined it too narrowly for too long. They walked together through the grand corridors of the council building, other representatives parting respectfully before them. Zoralia was aware of the stares, some curious, some disapproving, the Crixian princess and the human ambassador walking side by side as though equals. It was unprecedented. That evening a celebration was held in the Crixian embassy. Musicians from Various worlds performed food from a dozen planets was served. Jack stood somewhat awkwardly among beings twice his size, but engaged in conversation with surprising ease. Zoralia watched him from across the room. Something had changed within her, something fundamental and frightening. She found herself imagining what it would be like to touch his strange five-fingered hand, to feel his alien warmth, to cross the divide between their species. Such thoughts were dangerous, forbidden. Yet they persisted. Ambassador Keela of the Vendarti approached her, tall and elegantly furred. "You have initiated quite the revolution." "Princess," she said. Her 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of amusement. The Crixian Empire embracing diversity and cooperation. "Who would have imagined?" "It is hardly a revolution," Zoralia replied. "Merely a different approach." Keela made a trilling sound of disbelief. "We have all seen how you look at the human," she said, the great princess. Zoralia, captivated by a creature whose lifespan is but a fraction of our own, whose physical form is so different from ours, it is fascinating to observe. Zoralia stiffened. "You overstep, Ambassador." Perhaps Keela conceded. "But I am old enough to recognize the signs. Princess, be careful. The heart does not always choose wisely, especially when it chooses across such different worlds." Before Zoralia could respond, an aide hurried to her side. "Princess, urgent news from the mothership. Commander Vex has called an emergency session of the High Command in your absence." Zoralia felt a chill. "What justification does he offer?" The aide looked uncomfortable. "He claims evidence of human sabotage, my lady. A plot against the Empire, with Ambassador Benson implicated." Jack. Zoralia sought him across the room, finding him in conversation with a Malorian scientist. He looked up as though sensing her gaze, smiled warmly, completely unaware of the storm gathering around him. Zoralia moved swiftly through the crowd, Jack following close behind, concern evident in his eyes. She had pulled him away from the celebration with minimal explanation, but he sensed the urgency. "What has happened?" he asked when they reached her private shuttle. "Commander Vex has accused you of sabotage," she said, her voice tight with anger. "A ridiculous claim, but one I must address immediately." Jack stopped at the shuttle entrance. "Princess, if my presence will complicate matters, perhaps I should remain." Here Zoralia shook her head. "No. You will come with me. I will not have you tried in absence. Your Earth saying is innocent until proven guilty. Yes, that principle shall apply." The journey to the mothership passed in tense silence, Zoralia struggling to understand Vex's motivation, Jack seemingly lost in thought. The magnificent vessel came into view, its massive form blocking out the stars behind it. Normally a sight that filled Zoralia with pride, now it felt like approaching a storm. The landing bay was unusually full. Armed guards lined the walls, their posture tense, their weapons not quite pointed at the shuttle but ready. All wearing the insignia of Commander Vex's personal guard, Zoralia straightened her royal attire, a display of weakness. Now would be disastrous. "Stay behind me," she instructed Jack. "But not too far. I want you where I can see you." They disembarked the shuttle. Captain Drell, Vex's second-in-command, approached and bowed stiffly. "Your Highness, the High Command awaits in the emergency chamber. Commander Vex requests that the human be taken into custody. Pending investigation." Zoralia's 4 eyes narrowed. "The human, as you call him, is Ambassador Jack Benson of Earth. He remains under my protection and will accompany me to this meeting, Captain. Is that understood?" Drell hesitated, clearly caught between conflicting orders. "Yes, Your Highness." They proceeded through the corridors. Zoralia noted how crew members averted their eyes. Something was very wrong. The atmosphere, thick with tension. The emergency chamber doors slid open, revealing the High Command seated around the circular table. Commander Vex stood at the head position, Zoralia's position. An act of extreme disrespect. "Commander," she said, her voice ice cold, "you appear to be confused about the seating arrangements." Vex bowed but did not move. "Your Highness, we face an emergency. I took the liberty of beginning proceedings, given the serious nature of the threat." Zoralia moved to the head of the table, her gaze never leaving Vex's face. Jack remained by the door, a guard on either side. Now, Commander, explain yourself. What evidence do you have of this alleged sabotage? Vex activated the central display. A hologram appeared, showing security footage of restricted areas, various timestamps, various locations. But in each image, Jack appeared to be accessing computer terminals, examining engine components, studying security protocols. We discovered this footage during a routine security audit. Vex explained. The human has accessed restricted areas, downloaded sensitive data, examined critical systems, all without authorization. The commanders murmured among themselves. Zoralia examined the footage carefully. Something was not right. Jack stepped forward, his voice calm. These images are fabricated or manipulated. I was in those areas. Yes, but always with Princess Zoralia or with an official escort. I have never accessed Crixian systems without supervision or authorization. You deny these accusations then? Vex asked. I do, Jack replied firmly. And I question why a commander so loyal to Princess Zoralia would bring such serious charges without first discussing them with her. This suggests a political motive rather than a security concern. The chamber fell, silent. The implication. Clear Vex was challenging Zoralia's authority. Her judgment. Her right to rule. Commander, your concerns have been noted, Zoralia said. But these images require verification. The timestamps can be confirmed against my own schedule and that of other officers. Additionally, Jack broke no protocol by being in those areas. He was there at my invitation under my authority. She turned to the High Command. This session is adjourned until a proper investigation can be conducted. Ambassador, Benson remains under my protection. Until proven otherwise, he is our honored guest, not our prisoner. Vex's face hardened. Your Highness, with respect, your judgment in this matter is compromised. Your feelings for this human, the room froze. No one had ever dared speak to the princess in such a manner. Zoralia rose to her full height, her voice dangerously quiet. My feelings, Commander. Are you questioning my fitness to rule? Not at all. Your Highness? Vex backpedaled smoothly. I merely suggest that in matters concerning the human, an abundance of caution is warranted. Zoralia addressed the room. Ambassador Benson will return to his quarters under my personal guard, not as a prisoner, but for his protection. While we investigate these claims, I expect your full cooperation. Commander, that includes access to all security systems and records. The meeting dispersed. Zoralia led Jack through the corridors to the diplomatic wing, aware of the whispers that followed them. The rumors that would now spread throughout the ship. The damage Vex had done could not be easily undone. Once they reached Jack's quarters and the guards were posted outside, Zoralia finally allowed her composure to crack. I apologize for this humiliation. She said he had no right. Jack shook his head. No need to apologize, Princess. This is politics. I understand the game. Vex is playing Zoralia's side. These accusations are merely a pretext. His real target is me, my leadership, my new direction for the Empire. You are simply the most convenient way to attack me. Jack moved closer. I never meant to cause you trouble. You have not caused this trouble, Zoralia replied. My own choices have. The changes I have initiated threaten the old order. Vex represents that order. He would have found some way to challenge me with or without your presence. They stood in silence for a moment, too close by protocol standards. Jack looked up at her, his eyes searching her face. Is he right? She asked softly. About my judgment. Being compromised by my feelings. Jack hesitated. Only you can answer that, Princess. But I can tell you that on Earth, some of our wisest leaders have been those who led with both head and heart. Logic without compassion is cruelty. Duty without care is tyranny. Zoralia found herself reaching out, touching his face gently with one finger. His skin so different from hers, warm, soft, alive. If my judgment is compromised, then so be it, she whispered. But I will not let Vex destroy what we have built. Jack took her hand, a bold move that sent shivers through her. Then we face this together, Princess. But carefully, Vex will be watching for any sign of weakness, any mistake. Zoralia nodded reluctantly. We need evidence of his deception, access to the security systems, to prove these images were manipulated. Jack smiled slightly. I may have an idea. My species might be physically weaker, but we have some experience with political intrigue. Zoralia found herself returning his smile. Tell me. They spent hours developing their plan, Jack explaining concepts from Earth history, Zoralia adapting them to Crixian systems. Together they crafted a strategy to counter Vex's moves. It was well past midnight when Zoralia finally prepared to leave. Be careful, Jack said as the door opened. Your position is still strong. The crew respects you. The High Command is not fully convinced by Vex, but he will move quickly. Now Zoralia paused at the doorway. Ambassador, in the event that things go poorly, I want you to know that meeting you has changed me. Changed how I see. The universe changed. How I understand strength and power changed. She stopped, unable to find the words in any language she knew. Jack simply nodded. I know, Princess. Me too. As she walked back to her chambers. Zoralia's mind raced. Their plan was risky, but necessary. Vex had forced her hand. Now she would have to outmaneuver him or lose everything. Her position, her power. Perhaps even Jack. Commander Vex watched from the shadows as Princess Zoralia returned to her chambers. His informants had confirmed. She spent hours with the human plotting, no doubt. His strategy was working. The princess was compromised, emotionally entangled with an inferior species. It would be her downfall. And his ascension. The game had begun, and the fate of the Crixian Empire hung in the balance. Morning arrived with a ship-wide alert. Zoralia woke to flashing lights and the sound of Commander Vex's voice over the communication system. Attention all personnel, security protocols. Alpha 7, now in effect, restricted movement throughout all. Decks, report any sightings of Ambassador Benson to security immediately. Do not approach. He is considered dangerous. Zoralia leapt from her bed, fury building within her. Vex had made his move sooner than expected. She tried to contact Jack through her private channel. No response. She called for her personal guard. No answer. The door to her chambers remained locked from the outside. A coup. Vex had actually staged a coup. Her own commander, her most trusted advisor. She pressed the emergency override. For her door, nothing. It had been disabled. She was a prisoner in her own chambers. Think, Zoralia. She told herself Jack had warned her that Vex would move quickly, but this boldness suggested he had more support than they had realized. She needed to reach the High Command. But first she needed to escape. She examined her chambers, looking for any weakness in the security. The ventilation system too small even for a human. The windows unbreakable, overlooking the void of space. The walls, solid metal. The communication system limited to approved channels, all now under Vex's control. A soft tapping came from the ceiling. Zoralia looked up, confused. The tapping continued. Deliberate, rhythmic. She climbed onto her desk, reaching up toward the sound. A maintenance panel slid aside and the smiling face of Mila Carter, the human engineer assigned to the diplomatic mission, appeared. Need a hand? Princess Mila whispered. Zoralia had never been so happy to see a human face. How did you? No time to explain. Mila interrupted. Jack sent me. He's safe, but we need to move fast. Vex has control of most systems, but not all. The engineering crew remains loyal to you. With surprising strength for her small size, Mila helped pull Zoralia into the maintenance tunnel, a cramped space where the princess had to crawl on hands and knees, undignified but necessary. Where is Jack? Zoralia asked as they navigated the dark tunnels. Hiding in the tertiary engine control room, Mila replied. It's one of the few areas without surveillance. Vex never considered it important enough. Most of his forces are focused on the bridge, the armory, and the shuttle bays. He's telling everyone Jack sabotaged the main computer, injected a virus that would give Earth control of Crixian defense systems. Nobody with any technical knowledge believes it, but the military personnel are following orders. They emerged into a small maintenance room. 2 other humans waited there, along with a young Crixian officer. Lieutenant Cora Zoralia recognized her, a promising officer from a common family. Not part of the elite military circles. Your Highness Lieutenant Cora bowed deeply. Forgive our limited resources. We have perhaps 20 supporters across the ship, mostly engineering staff and junior officers. The commander has convinced the security forces that you are under the influence of human mind control technology. Zoralia almost laughed. The absurdity of the accusation. Mind control. And yet clearly, many believed it or pretended to in order to support Vex's takeover. What is the situation on the bridge, she asked. Vex has full control, Lieutenant Cora reported. He has contacted the High Command claiming you suffered a nervous breakdown. The human ambassador allegedly used forbidden technology to influence your decisions. Your recent policy changes cited as evidence. The High Command has granted him temporary authority, pending your recovery. And they believed this. Some did not. But without evidence to the contrary, and with you isolated, his supporters are in key positions, Princess. The loyal officers have been confined to quarters. Zoralia felt a cold anger building. We need to reach Jack first. Then we gather evidence of Vex's deception, and then I will reclaim my ship. They moved through the maintenance tunnels, Mila leading the way. The human engineer clearly knew the ship's systems better than most Crixians, a fact Zoralia filed away for later consideration. Perhaps humans were more adaptable than her. People had given them credit for. After nearly an hour of crawling through cramped spaces, they reached the tertiary engine control room. A small, forgotten space used mainly during construction and rarely visited since Jack sat hunched over a computer terminal. His face lighting up when he saw Zoralia. Princess, he said, relief evident in his voice. You're safe. For now, she replied. What have you discovered? Jack gestured to the screen. I've been analyzing the security footage Vex used against me. It's definitely manipulated. Look here and here. The light reflections don't match, the shadows are inconsistent, and most importantly, the timestamps don't align with ship's chronology. Records. Lieutenant Cora moved closer to examine the evidence. The commander was careless. He didn't expect anyone to look this closely. Or he acted too quickly, Jack added. He's rushing his plan, which means he's nervous. Something's forcing his hand. The High Command, Zoralia realized. The council meeting. The policy changes, the alliances with other species. Vex fears losing power in the new order. So he creates this crisis to restore the old ways. But we need proof. The High Command will accept. Not just technical discrepancies. Mila, who had been monitoring communications, channels from a separate terminal, looked up. Princess, there's a transmission coming in from Earth Alliance Command. It's on a secure channel. Vex doesn't know about yet. Put it through, Zoralia ordered. The screen flickered, and the face of Admiral Kate Foster appeared, commander of Earth's space fleet. Princess Zoralia. Thank goodness we've reached you. The Admiral said. We've received disturbing reports from Commander Vex about Ambassador Benson. But they contradict information from our other sources. On your ship, Admiral Foster. Zoralia acknowledged. The situation is complicated. Commander Vex has staged what you might call a coup. He has confined me to quarters, though I have escaped with help from your people. He claims Ambassador Benson used mind control technology to influence me. An absurd accusation. The Admiral's expression hardened. Princess, we have evidence that might interest you. Our intelligence division has been monitoring communications between Commander Vex and certain factions within the Siraxian Empire for several months. Now it seems they made arrangements for Vex to deliver Crixian military secrets in exchange for support in what they called a leadership transition. Zoralia felt as though she'd been struck. Everyone knew the Siraxians were the greatest rivals of the Crixian Empire. For Vex to conspire with them was the highest treason. You have proof of this. Admiral Foster nodded. We do. Encrypted communications, financial transfers, meeting records. We were building a case to present to you through proper channels, but events have accelerated. Would transmission of this evidence help your situation? It would, Zoralia said, her mind racing. This changes everything. Vex is not just challenging my authority. He's betraying the Empire itself. Jack, who had been listening intently, stepped forward. Admiral, could you transmit that evidence to this terminal, and perhaps to multiple secure locations? As backup smart thinking, Ambassador Foster nodded. We'll send everything we have. Stay safe. The Earth Alliance stands with you. Princess, the transmission ended and data began flowing into the terminal. Jack and Mila worked quickly to secure it. Now we have leverage. Zoralia said, we need to reach the High Command directly. Bypass. Vex, show them this evidence. Lieutenant Cora looked uncertain. The communication systems are monitored. Your Highness, we cannot send this directly without Vex intercepting it. Then we don't use the communication systems, Jack said. We deliver the message. In person, Zoralia nodded. A direct appearance before the High Command would be powerful. They would have to listen. And with the evidence of Vex's treason, I must reach my personal shuttle, she decided. It has override codes. Vex cannot block its autopilot. Will recognize me. Lieutenant Cora shook her head. The shuttle bays are heavily guarded. Your Highness, it would be suicide to attempt reaching them. Zoralia smiled for the first time since this crisis began. Then we shall have to be creative, Lieutenant. As our human friends have taught us, strength takes many forms. The plan was dangerous but necessary. They moved through the ship using maintenance tunnels, service corridors, and brief moments of distraction created by loyal crew members. Jack had suggested what he called a human approach, subterfuge, misdirection, and improvisation rather than direct confrontation. Zoralia found it strangely exhilarating, so different from the straightforward Crixian military doctrine. Lieutenant Cora led a small team to create a diversion near the primary shuttle bay. While Vex's forces responded, Zoralia, Jack, Mila, and 2 loyal engineers would access the secondary bay where Zoralia's personal shuttle waited. They carried the evidence of Vex's treason on multiple data devices, each person holding a copy in case they were separated. As they neared the secondary shuttle bay, alarms blared through the ship. The diversion had begun. Lieutenant Cora's team creating what appeared to be a breakout attempt. The corridor ahead was clear, but it would not remain so for long, no? Zoralia whispered. They moved swiftly. The 2 engineers disabled the security monitors. Jack overrode the door controls using techniques he claimed were common among human teenagers. A fact that both impressed and concerned Zoralia. The door slid open, revealing the shuttle bay. 3 guards turned in surprise. Mila launched a small device that emitted a high-pitched sonic pulse, designed for Crixian hearing. The guards clutched their heads in pain, giving Zoralia time to reach them. Her superior strength making quick work of the disoriented soldiers. The bay secured, they rushed to her shuttle, its sleek form a welcome sight. The ramp lowered, recognizing Zoralia's biosignature. They boarded quickly, Zoralia taking the controls, Jack beside her. The engines hummed to life, warning unauthorized shuttle activation. Commander Vex's voice came over the communication system. Princess, if you are aboard, return to your quarters. This action will be considered further evidence of your compromised state. Zoralia opened a channel. All Crixian personnel. This is Princess Zoralia, your rightful leader. Commander Vex is guilty of high treason. Evidence of his conspiracy with the Syraxian Empire will be presented to the High Command. I am departing, for Crixia to deliver this evidence personally. Those loyal to the Empire stand ready. Vex's treachery will not go unpunished. She cut the transmission as the shuttle lifted off. The bay doors began to close. An override from the bridge, Zoralia accelerated, pushing the shuttle to its limits. They cleared the doors with inches to spare, the vast emptiness of space welcoming them. Behind them, the mothership loomed large and threatening, weapon systems coming online, targeting the small shuttle. They're going to fire, Jack said, disbelief in his voice. He would actually destroy a royal shuttle. Vex has gone too far to turn back. Now, Zoralia replied, He knows if I reach the High Command with this evidence, he is finished. Hold on. She engaged the shuttle's emergency thrusters designed for evasive maneuvers. The shuttle lurched forward as energy weapons fired from the mothership, the shots narrowly missing Zoralia's piloting skills proving superior. She plotted a course for the jump point that would take them to Crixia, the homeworld. More shots from the mothership. Closer this time, Vex adjusting his targeting algorithms. The shuttle rocked under near misses. Warning lights flashed across the control panel. We can't outrun them, Jack said. The mothership has superior firepower. We need another solution. Before Zoralia could respond, a new voice came over the communication system. Princess Zoralia. This is Captain Drell of the Crixian vessel. Starlight, we have received your transmission and reviewed the evidence. You transmitted before departure. Commander Vex's actions constitute treason against the Empire. The Starlight stands with you. On the view screen, a Crixian patrol ship moved into position between the shuttle and the mothership, its weapons powering up, not targeting the shuttle but the mothership. A standoff. Captain Drell continued. We have forwarded the evidence to other vessels in the fleet. 3 have already responded, confirming support. Your message to the High Command has been delivered. They await your arrival. Zoralia felt a surge of hope. It was working. The truth was spreading. Vex's support crumbling. We're receiving a transmission from the mothership, Jack said. It's from the bridge. But it's not Vex put it through. Princess Zoralia, this is Lieutenant Commander Havar. Vex has been confined to quarters. The High Command has ordered his arrest pending your return. The mothership is secure. A cheer went up from Mila and the engineers. Jack squeezed Zoralia's arm, gently, a gesture of support and pride. Set course for Crixia. Zoralia ordered. We still need to address the High Command in person. This crisis has revealed weaknesses in our system of government. Weaknesses we must correct. The jump to Crixia took several hours, during which reports continued to come in Vex's supporters either surrendering or being arrested. Evidence of his conspiracy with the Soraxians spreading throughout the fleet. The attempted coup collapsing before it had truly begun. When they reached Crixia, the royal palace awaited Zoralia. The High Command assembled in the Grand Chamber. The evidence against Vex presented formally. His treason confirmed by multiple sources. His fate sealed. Zoralia stood before them, her royal authority no longer in question. Commanders, she began. This crisis has shown us that the old ways are vulnerable. Our focus on strength through domination created the conditions for Vex's treachery. He believed power was his right, his alone. When I suggested new approaches, cooperation, cultural, exchange, equal partnerships, he saw only weakness, because that is what we have taught for generations, that different means weaker, that change means vulnerability. She gestured to Jack, who stood respectfully at the side of the chamber. Yet it was different, perspectives that saved us. Human ingenuity, Earth Alliance intelligence, the loyalty of those we considered lesser. These proved our true strength. Commander. Vex failed because he could not imagine power existing in forms he did not recognize. The High Command listened, some nodding in agreement, others still uncertain but all attentive. All respectful, I propose a new direction for the Crixian Empire. She continued, not abandoning our strength, but expanding our understanding of what strength means, not surrendering our power but sharing it in ways that make us all stronger. Together, not as ruler and ruled but as partners in a greater galactic community. The debate that followed lasted days. Constitutional reforms proposed new councils, established representatives from other species invited to participate, Earth among them, Jack serving as a key advisor. The Crixian Empire, transforming not overnight, but gradually, deliberately. A new era beginning. Weeks later, Zoralia stood on the observation deck of the royal palace, Jack beside her. The stars stretched out before them, infinite possibilities. So what happens now? Jack asked. Your reforms are taking hold. The High Command supports your leadership. The alliance with Earth grows, stronger but she prompted. He hesitated. The difference between us remains I am still human. You are still Crixian. My lifespan is but a fraction of yours. Our worlds, our cultures. So different, Zoralia turned to him, taking his small hand in hers. These differences once seemed so important, she said. Now they seem like just another challenge to overcome. Another opportunity to find strength in diversity. Jack smiled. Would your ancestors approve, Princess a Crixian royal and a human ambassador? My ancestors conquered worlds, destroyed civilizations, ruled through fear. She replied, perhaps it is time for new traditions. Time to show that the greatest strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the courage to create something new. Something better, something together. She leaned down, her face close to his, protocols and traditions forgotten in this moment. The stars watched silently as two beings from different worlds, different histories, different biologies found connection. A human who had changed, an empire with ideas of cooperation and respect. A princess who had found the courage to imagine a new kind of strength. Their future uncertain, but facing it together. Throughout the galaxy, the story spread of the human who loved a princess who changed. An empire forever proving that humanity, though small in stature and brief in lifespan, could touch the stars themselves with the power of their spirit. And of a princess who learned that true strength lies not in conquest, but in connection, not in power but in partnership, not in sameness but in the beautiful complexity of difference.